Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It is Monday, June 26th, and we are the Investing Bros, the most generous crypto community in all of YouTube.
Transition to the macro news. Taking a look here on the macro news. Nothing big coming in today, guys, at all. We got the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index is going to be dropping this morning at 8:30 a.m. my time. That'll be 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, durable goods orders month over month will be coming in tomorrow. Expected to be a little bit lower than what we have been previously. Expected to be down either a full percent or almost a full percent, depending on the consensus of the forecast. Wednesday, we're going to have Fed Chair Powell's speech going on that morning. Not sure what he's going to be talking about there, but he's got 2 days of it going on. Thursday, he's got an afternoon speech. But the big one, guys, Friday, PCE. This is the biggest factor that they look at when they look at inflation numbers. True inflation up 1/100% this morning right here. Guys, it's up to 2.46. We might be closing that gap to 4% with this 2.46%. I'm being facetious. Not even close to what the federal government says we're at. Last but not least, let's get into the liquidations, guys. In the past 24 hours, there have been $69.6 million in liquidations, a majority of those being longs. A lot of people this weekend getting into long trades, thinking that it was going to be going up, and I don't like trading weekends, and this is why, because there's just no volatility. There's really no movement right now. We're seeing that it's coming in there at 51.8 million longs liquidated, so nothing too horrible right now looking at the liquidations. Big winner, Binance.
So here we go, CME futures. Nothing really changing from last week, guys. Technically is down a little bit, but we're still heavily expecting a 25 basis point rate hike this next month. Let's just see if they're continuing to say that that's going to be the peak. Yeah, we're holding in September, holding in November, holding in December. Let's see if we still begin cuts. Yeah, so it's going to be similar to what we saw last week. The expectation is one more rate hike and then a pause for the rest of the year. And then the expectation is cuts should begin January 1st of 2024. Of course, a lot of stuff's going to happen between now and then. So don't necessarily set your hearts on that. But for right now, it's about a month left, 30 days left until we get the next FOMC meeting. But it's pretty high probability we're going to go ahead and get another rate hike. Bitcoin fear and greed is still in the greed, but is down back to 55. That's actually a good sign because the price is really not that far down. Yeah, I think it's down about 1,000 from where it just hit on Friday, and we got all the way up to 65 on the fear and greed index. Now we're down at 55, despite the fact that Bitcoin's sitting pretty much at 30,400. This is a good sign to me. You love to see it. T-Shirt, have you ridden a bicycle recently? Piper, have you ridden a bicycle recently?
I have.
No, I have not.
I have to ride a bicycle because my dogs will escape and go down the road, and the only way I can catch up with them is if I hop on my bicycle.
About a year ago, someone's like, "Oh, Tim, do you want to go on like a 10-mile bike ride?" I was like, "Yeah, I did this all the time as a kid." My butt was freaking on fire. So maybe that's why. Maybe it knows that I need these pants. There's a couple interesting things that I'm going to take a look at this morning. I think I'm going to start with a look and a blast to the past. But this is currently what we're dealing with right here, guys. I kind of have this drawn. There's a couple of ways of seeing it. We do have a little bit of level of resistance. That's not necessarily as significant. I'm keeping my eyes more on this kind of a flag that we have a rising level of resistance, rising level of support. Just looking at this action right here, this price action we had the other day. We rallied up here, could not get above 30,000 or 31,000, excuse me. Wick back down, shot up above 31, got all the way to 31, almost 500, and then we came back down, and we're kind of hesitating right here, right? And there's some people sitting here wondering, all right, are we actually going to break through? Are we actually going to start heading towards 32, 36? Get up towards that 40,000, not that I think it's going to happen. However, I was noticing, and you guys know in the past, we talked about the similarities between this market and all the price action we've had here and back in 2019. I want you guys to focus on some of this more recent price action we've had down here, rallying up, and then we hit a level where we kind of hesitate with the previous year-to-date high, and then we break through it. This is 2019. See, this is how confusing it is. It literally looks the same. I couldn't even tell which one was 2023 and 2019 because they're that similar. The price action that we're seeing happen here is extremely similar. This is back in 2019. This is now, yes, it's slightly different, but look at that little match up, short correction, and then a pushback up barely above it, short correction. Let's sit here and let's hit play on this because this is rewound. That's why you don't see any price action. What happens over the next couple of days?
It's exhilarating to watch.
So
there's a lot of ups and downs.
How much was that pullback from the top to bottom right there on that retracement?
Right here?
Yep.
about 25%. It ends up dipping more like 50% because, again, it's what's going to happen here. I'm on the 4-hour chart. This is taking a long time. It ends up coming all the way back down to this green line, and that's before the pandemic. But it does have a little bit of hesitation before that. You end up creating a little bit of a falling trading channel is what you're seeing kind of play out. It ends up falling like this, coming all the way down here towards the green line. When is it going to actually come down? There we go. Breaks through, doesn't even respect that fully. It ends up breaking down to the green line. Why am I on the 4-hour chart? I don't even know. That was a lot. That took me a little minute. This is looking very similar to 2019. That's my first point, guys. And again, I'm not even going to necessarily make like a huge like pull and say, hey, this means that we're shooting up to 50K. But I do think that we're going to get a little bit of a push here. And again, I'm still keeping my eyes on these levels sitting here around 36K. Cardano, nothing necessarily crazy happening. Guys, I'm going to hold up to what I've been saying before, just refreshing. If this is your first time watching, I apologize. It's been a fun show, but it's been a weird show. We're usually a lot more coordinated than this. I still believe Cardano could rally with a Bitcoin rally, potentially retest this former support and turn it into resistance somewhere between 38 to 40 cents. But like I just said with Bitcoin, that we should be expecting a rally and then a fall. Same thing with altcoins. I'm expecting a rally and then a fall. And with Cardano, I'm looking at potentially new lows down towards 18 cents, maybe even down as far as 14 cents. If you're holding Cardano, you're going to lose a lot of money. The good side is if you want to gather and get more Cardano, that's going to be very, very good price action because I still hold to my prediction. I think Cardano could get somewhere between $7 to $12 at the top of the next bull market. So the cheaper you can buy, the better. So there's a little part of me inside that's like dreading this fall because I hold Cardano, but there's another part of me that's like, well, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I could go gobble up a lot of ADA and set myself up for a very nice bull run. But that being said, guys, that's all the TA I have. I'm going to throw it over to Piper for some Ethereum.
Looking here at Ethereum, guys, you can see that we're continuing to get rejection on our 887 here, the top of the platinum pocket on our fibs. Also, give it up here in this range. Also, it is the upper trade band of the predictive ranges. For those that don't know, I talk about this a lot. And what it is you got these lines right here, these frames. This upper purple and lower purple are the frame of the predictive ranges. They print all the way, like way back. And they are predictive lines of resistance and support. This delta line right here running, that's a blue line right there, is the 50% line of it. And we typically trade between the two gold bands. You can see triple rejection there on the upper trade line of our predictive ranges. But when we throw on top here, we can actually see that the candle closes have been under the 887 of the Fibonacci's. Right now, we are staying bullish on this with a lot of support bouncing on the mats and the support bouncing on a breaker block. I do suspect that this is going to continue sideways here for a little bit. If we do come down, watch for this trend assist, or possibly you see the blue line right there. That is running right on top perfectly of the 786. And you guys know the 786 is a nice bounce point a lot of times for entries on trades. That coming in at about 1825 on those. That trend assist coming in at about 1841. And currently right now, the mats and the breaker block coming in at about 1875. There is where I would be looking at on the oscillators. You can see that we do continue getting bearish divergences here, but we're getting very small pullbacks until we hit support. Who let the dogs out? The bounce here coming up on the zero line, I'm thinking we're going to see. If we take a look here at the trend fusion, you can see that the money flow index is coming down, but the trend fusion line is about to hit that zero line also. And we did get this engulfing candle pattern on the RSI primed coming in right here. So it did give us an indication of downside, but like I said, we're hitting strong support right now. I would be watching for the possibility of that 1825, 1800 range to come into play sometime today or tomorrow.
HSBC Hong Kong now lets customers trade Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. Does not say whether or not they are spot ETFs. My guess is that they are not. My guess is that they're futures ETFs, but they're only going to be traded and available to folks living in the special administrative region of China, and that now allows customers to trade Bitcoin and Ether exchange traded funds listed in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, listed by this company CSOP. So that's something to look at. The SEC approves first leverage Bitcoin futures ETF, a bizarre move from the SEC given the wider ETF landscape, but the volatility shares 2x Bitcoin strategy ETF is scheduled to launch on the Chicago Board Options CBOE BZX exchange next Tuesday, June 27th. That is right around the corner, guys. That's tomorrow. So very, very exciting there. Japanese crypto issuers won't pay taxes on unrealized gains. Just long story short here, guys, there was some speculation that they might have to, and they're not gonna have to. Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT prices plunged as Machi Big Brother makes major moves. This may not have effects on other projects in the NFT space, but in one transaction alone on Saturday, Huang cashed in 19 apes at once for 651 Ethereum on Blur, worth around 1.2 million. That's quite a bit. So, as we know, there's Big Brother Machi Big Brother. He's in some hot water. I think he's suing somebody. So he's probably liquidate so he can pay those lawyers. Optimism has rebranded as OP Mainnet. So just keep an eye open for that. If you see OP Mainnet, it's not a scam. Optimism has actually rebranded. They're trying to be more super chain like. So Near Foundation partners with Alibaba Cloud to accelerate Web3 growth in Asia. But if you swing by the bubbles, Near is actually popping off this morning. It's doing really, really well. ChatGPT plugin goes live for Hedera Network. So this one's really interesting, could be explosive. Users can now view account balances through a network explorer or programmatically retrieve them via the Mirror Node Reset API, which the plugin will utilize. So very, very big information here coming out for Hedera.
He's getting tired. So he's going to kind of tire out on the 10th push-up. Yeah, no, he doesn't extend. But when you got triceps like that, you don't need
back to the line.
Dude,
wow, you made it to the end of the video. Great job. Now, if you want more content like this, whether it be TA on Bitcoin and Ethereum or altcoins, or you just want to stay up to date on the latest and greatest news in crypto, then stay tuned and tune in to our 9 a.m. live show every single weekday morning. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when you tune in live, use the keyword grip strength in the chat, and you'll get a special shout out from anyone who's paying attention to the chat. Love to see you there.